Hey everyone, this is Ariel, the Client Service Director of Dental Nachos, and I am here with Michael Anderson of Wonderist Agency and your virtual consultant. And today he is going to go over what virtual consults are and how you can start to implement and promote them in your dental office during the COVID-19 crisis. So here is Michael Anderson.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's been a really interesting couple weeks for us. We've been focusing on virtual consults for the last 2 years. And, the conversation we had about them even 4 weeks ago is very different than what's going on today. So I want to just go through how people can use virtual consults in their office and how to promote them. Just briefly, quick intro. My wife, Laura, and I have been working with dentists since about 2011. We own Wonderist Agency, marketing agency for dentists. We've got our team of about 35 people in San Diego. And so obviously I've got our California flag in back of us here. All right, so what are we going to talk about? I want to talk about what virtual consults are, how you do virtual consults. There's different ways to do virtual consults, right? You can do live consults, you can do on-demand consults. And then it's not enough to just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do virtual consults. You've got to let people know about that. We're going to talk about how to promote it. And then finally, we're going to talk about some of the regulations and some of the insurance coverage. I know there's been a lot of questions about this, and so we're going to hopefully tackle that and give you guys a little bit more information about how you can do that. Okay, so first of all, what's the challenge right now? I think we all recognize the world is a little different today than it was yesterday. About 50% of the US population is in quarantine. And then for us, we're looking at kind of the extremes. What can happen here? What does this mean for our dentists? Oregon is obviously requiring all sort of non-elective or non-urgent procedures to pause until June 15th. That's about a 3-month period. And then Texas is mandating that offices, shut down completely, see no emergencies for the next 30 days. So we don't know how long we're gonna be in this period. So people are having to adjust. That's something that we're seeing all of our dentists do. They're having to change the way that they're running their business. So this is the way that I kind of want to start off our talk today. I want you all to think about the cultural challenge that we have in front of us. I've been talking about this with our team almost like a timeout, right? We've all been sent back to our rooms and we've got some extra time to think about what we're doing. And so my wife and I have been thinking about our lives, our behaviors, our goals, our relationships. And I think it's safe to say on the other side of this, there's some stuff we're going to do differently. If we don't do the same thing for our businesses, then I think we've missed an opportunity. So the goal for all of us, I think, should be to evolve our businesses, our practices, to thrive during future challenges, right? We want to learn from this moment and make sure that next time we see something come through, we are in a better place to handle it. Okay, so why do we even care about virtual consults? There's kind of 3 main reasons that I'm going to put to you right now. The one that's the most immediate reason is to triage emergency cases, right? We want to offer state-of-the-art technology to patients to really give them access to make sure that they see you as a leader in the community to provide healthcare. Want to provide relief. There's people that are sitting at home in pain. I'm seeing emails come through my computer every day now because people are using a platform that we built with patients that are reaching out to our dentists saying, I've got a problem here. What can I do to help? So you want to provide relief. And we also want to keep the lights on, right? We want to continue to do the work and service that pay the bills. And so this is one way to do that when your office is closed. I think another really great reason to think about virtual consults is you want to put yourself forward as a leader. This is not something that every dentist is going to do. And I think there's a great opportunity right now for you to step forward and to be different, to say something that's going to stand out from the crowd. And so you want to put yourself forward as an industry leader. I think that, what this lets you do is it lets you know that you're staying in communication with patients in a meaningful way. This is not just an email. It's not a call to the front desk. People can rely on their healthcare provider to provide some comfort. That's a big deal. Again, doing something different, standing out from the crowd. You can imagine someone that their normal dental office is totally closed right now. They're looking for help, a resource. They come across your website, your social media. A friend says, oh, did you know there's a dentist in town that's accessible virtually? That's going to be something different. And then I always love to look for an ABC. It's not always be closing. This is always be challenging yourself. I know a lot of you love CE. You want to keep growing in your practice. this is another way to do that. It's a way to stretch and grow and think about the future. And then the last one, this is the most traditional one. This is where we were about 8 weeks ago. So, for those of you that were talking about virtual consults 8 weeks ago, before we even thought we might have to triage patients virtually, it's a way to generate cosmetic leads, right? So many people are unhappy with their smile, and they're not ready to come into the office yet. They're nervous, they're scared of the dentist, they're afraid of being sold dentistry, they don't want to take off of work. And so lowering that barrier to entry is huge. And this is a way to do that, to say, listen, you can take a photo of your smile, you can send it to me, and I'll respond back virtually. It's a great way to start a conversation. This does not replace in-office consults. The best consult is in-office, but it's a way to start that conversation. And the other thing that virtual consults do is it kind of automates that cosmetic process, or the cosmetic lead process. Wouldn't it be great if you're able to, get up every week and have some new people that wanted to start a conversation about the work you really want to do? Okay, so what the heck is a virtual consult? I think that people are kind of changing that even right now. It's evolving. These are some slides that I would speak on before the COVID-19 outbreak, and I wanted to keep them in here with some modifications. So what's important about virtual consults? You want to meet people where they're at, right? People are increasingly online. They're on social media. And so being able to provide an access point to you to start a conversation is really important. If we think about what's going on with the COVID-19 outbreak right now, there are more people on social media and online than ever before. We're all at home, we're all bored, we're all looking to find something to do. So this is a great opportunity to use that to your advantage and to communicate with a new community and a new patient base. Convenience is king, right? We live in a world that increasingly is getting more convenient by the day. This could be good or bad. We can go on our phones and we can have groceries delivered. It's a brave new world. And so while your practice is open 9 to 5, the internet never closes down. And so we know that people are going to seek the convenience of saying, I want to communicate and get my answer at 10 at night. I know I'm one of those people. I work starting from 8 o'clock until 7 sometimes, or 8 o'clock at night. And then when I have got to call my dentist, shout out to Dr. Scott Strummer, oftentimes I'm having to email or text. They have a wonderful product that you can schedule remotely online. So convenience is king. And while the 9 to 5 may be gone right now, I do think that one thing that is super important, people are still looking for that convenience in their homes, right? We're not leaving our homes right now. So convenience is still super important during the outbreak. Okay, valuing time. Virtual consults make time a lot more convenient, right? What we're doing is we're valuing that chair time that our dentists have. Rather than having a 30-minute appointment where someone comes in and you haven't really pre-vetted them, virtual consults really break that down and let people use their time more efficiently. And so what I would encourage you to do is make sure you find good boundaries, right? You want to do that in your practice normally, you want to do it with virtual consults. So even though during this outbreak you may have more time on your hands, still set boundaries with patients so you're not doing video calls at 10 at night. You want to make sure that you create some normalcy here. And then building connection and trust. Video is such a powerful way to do that. If you guys have not used video to communicate with friends or family, I think this moment in time is really going to prove to a lot of people that video is a great way to communicate. It is powerful. How much more so with our patients who often feel there's this wall at the front desk or online that makes it impersonal. I know for me, if I get a video from a healthcare provider, my doctor, my dentist, someone like that, that's something that really speaks to the type of practice they have. So you want to make sure that you're building that connection. Right now, sure, you can send a message to a patient, you can send them a text or an email. Video is the most powerful thing you can do. Even if you're just emailing patients to give them an update right now, I'd encourage you to consider using video. Okay, and then make sure you have an automated process. Work harder, not smarter. That's a huge part of what you want to do with this virtual consult process. So there's 100 different ways to do virtual consults. Let's make sure, while you've got a little time right now, that you actually find a way that's going to automate this process for you moving forward, so you don't have to go and use duct tape and glue to kind of stick stuff together later down the road. And then compliance. So a lot of you have probably heard that the government has waived HIPAA compliance considerations for virtual consults. You can really use just about anything. You can use your FaceTime on your smartphone, you can use Zoom, you can use anything, but I would encourage you to find a HIPAA compliance solution now that lets you do this in the future when those regulations may not be waived. and it'd be the future, right? What's going to happen in 10 years? Do you think more people are going to be doing things virtually? If you do, which I do, then I think start investing now. Be at the front of that curve, and make sure that that you feel that you're really offering something to your patients that's future focused. Okay, so I said there's sort of multiple types of virtual consults. I think there's two main ones. There's live consults and on-demand or asynchronous consults. That asynchronous word is going to be important later when we talk about insurance. I'm seeing some other companies pop up and they're saying, hey, we do virtual consults or teledentistry, and that there are some messaging platforms that are also supporting the space as well. What we're going to focus on today is video focused consults. So let's dive in and let's look at live virtual consults first. So a live virtual consult is kind of like what we're doing right now in many ways. You're able to have a conversation with someone that's at the same time. So you get on video, you're able to talk to them, you're able to kind of get up in a video camera and show off the affected area of the person's mouth and do a little exam that way. The pros are you can have a normal conversation, you can lead the patient through a self-exam, and you can use that live camera feed to do a little bit of an examination. The cons are it does demand a specific time in your schedule. So you've got to find a time to coordinate with that patient. Now, when we all have a little more time, that's a little easier. When we're back to work and when doors are opened, I think live consults become a little trickier for our doctors. Most of the time, they don't want to take up chair time with the hope that someone's going to figure out how to use this, this new Zoom tool that they had their dentist send them. And so there is that technological gap. Sometimes you're going to have that issue where people are either a no-show because it's virtual or because there's going to be some technological issue. Streaming quality can be an issue depending on people's Wi-Fi connections. And when you're on video, you have to have your own supporting structure for consults. So that's something we're going to talk about a little later, but you want to make sure that you do prepare for that, because once the video camera starts going, there's no structure in place for you. You've got to guide through that process. Okay, so what do we recommend? We recommend Zoom, which is one of the companies that has certainly come out of this and has been a very, very popular company that people are talking about. VC is another one. There's a bunch, guys. There's so many. Find one that works for you. So that's going to be super important. Find one that works well for you. And then there's the on-demand consults. So on-demand consults are going to be the type of consults that our company provides, your virtual consult. And they're asynchronous, which means that a patient can send you information at 10 at night and you can respond at 8 in the morning. So it's a little bit more of an efficient use of people's time. It captures more patient information up front. And there's a standardized consult process to respond, right? So for our platform, we walk you through how that's going to work. And you also can depend on a higher quality of photo because you're getting that from a photo camera. You're not depending on the streaming quality of the video. The cons, there's no live conversation. You can't follow up with a question and you can't guide someone through a self-guided exam. And there's no ability to use a video camera to really, examine an area and go into a little bit more detail if there's something that you need them to follow up on. So we have a platform we've worked on for 2 years, Your Virtual Consult. It's a platform that does asynchronous on-demand consults. And it's something we're going to talk just a little bit more about down the road here. So how do you use virtual consults? So HIPAA compliance has been waived, as we talk about. You can literally use anything from Facebook Messenger to VC to Zoom to your phone. So it's kind of a free-for-all. I would recommend that you find a HIPAA compliant solution that buoys you into the future so that you do have a process in place. So here's a basic format or a basic process for live consults if you want a workflow. You need to build a home base. You need to make sure that people know you do virtual consults by putting something on your website or building a landing page, because you got to create some structure. People haven't done this before. What are the steps they need to take? What should they plan on? So build your home base, either on your website or a landing page. And then you got to get the word out, right? If you're all excited about this, you say, great, I'm going to sign up for one of these products that Mike's talking about. And then you don't tell anyone, you shouldn't expect to do any virtual consults. So it's important that you email your patients, let them know that you're supporting them virtually. And then also don't forget about social media. It's a great way to get the word out. Then you want to make sure you have a way to schedule consults. So, some of you may work with tools like LocalMed, ZocDoc to schedule patients. If you go and modify that so that you have your hygiene appointments and your in-office appointments closed, you could schedule consults that way. Otherwise, I would recommend using a tool called Calendly. It links up with your Google Calendar, super helpful way to make sure that you're keeping your schedule organized, and it's something that people can actually schedule their own appointments on. And then you pick a platform. So you can use Zoom, you can use VC, you can use any of the other live platforms out there, and make sure that you understand how it works. Next, you want to set up a pre-consult form. So you want to send something to people ahead of time to get a little information so you have an idea of what you're going to talk about. And then you want to make sure you have a way to email or text patients so that you're able to communicate back and forth. So it could just be through your phone. Again, I would recommend finding something that's HIPAA compliant. Normally, you should not be discussing patient information via text or email. You want to make sure there's a HIPAA compliant way to do that. Now we get to go into a virtual consult. So introduce yourself, ask the patient about their issues, lead a self-exam. You want to help them kind of understand, what they need to do. Propose possible treatments, screen share relevant casework. Showing off a little bit is helpful. If someone is nervous, they say, I have a broken tooth, what am I going to do? Is the color going to match? Have some casework you can share with them so they have an understanding of what your quality of work is going to be like, and then discuss next steps with them. You always need to make sure you have a clear next step for your patient in any consult. Finally, make sure you have a follow-up reminder, especially as we're out of the office. You need to make sure that you have a clear next step set for yourself. And then we'll get to this right at the end here. We'll submit to insurance. That's an optional step if that's something that you want to do. Okay. On-demand consults are a little bit different. So I want to pause here for a minute and invite you guys, if you're interested in using on-demand consults, we're giving our platform away for free for 2 months at no cost to you guys. You can go to yourvirtualconsult.com and you can use the code FIGHTCOVID-19 to sign up. And so it's our gift to you guys to help out in this tough moment where I think a lot of people are scrambling to try to figure out, how do I adjust? And so we have a technology that we think can help you guys. So again, you can go to yourvirtualconsult.com and use the code FIGHTCOVID-19 to sign up for that. And it's going to be free for the next 2 months. So I want to talk a bit about what a on-demand process would look like, or workflow. There's some similarities, but there's also some differences. And so the first thing you do is you sign up and you would fill out a profile. You're going to fill out some basic information about your practice, a bio, a logo, just some really basic information. And then that's going to generate that home base that we talked about before, a landing page that you're able to use and get the word out a little bit. So once you've got that landing page, you want to make sure that you email your patients, you're active on social media, and then at that point you wait. And our platform alerts you when someone says, I need help. And so you get an email and you're able to then pop right into the platform and record a consult. So the way that works is there's multiple steps that we're going to walk you through. It's going to be prepping the treatment plan, showing before and after work, recording a video, talking about next steps, all bundled up into sort of one process. Ultimately, we package that up. We'll send that out to the patient so they get a personalized landing page with your recommendations. And then we're able to automate all of the email follow-up, and you've got a system to kind of track results. Like we said in the other workflow, it's important that you know what your next step and what your follow-up is. And then finally, you can submit to insurance optionally. Okay, so I'm just going to do a very, very quick walkthrough. I'm a big believer in seeing is believing. So if you guys are wondering, well, how the heck does this work? This is basically what our platform looks like. So you log in, and there's this dashboard you're greeted with, and you're going to navigate over to the left-hand side where there's this business profile. And like I said, you just fill out some basic information, your phone number, your business name, a description of the business, logo, etc. And all of that gets packaged up. You can also add before and after photos. So here's a little casework before and after gallery. And all that gets combined so that you get this landing page. And you can see we've got a little alert bar at the top. While the COVID-19 outbreak is happening, we're letting anyone that comes to your personalized landing page know that you're using this to help triage patients. So it's all kind of done for you. And then if someone were to say, I want to get going, I want to do a consult, a patient that needs help, they're going to be walked through a series of questions. And we've designed it so you just click on the results. It means people can go deeper into a form, provide more information without having to get fatigued typing stuff up. We ask people to provide photos, and then you receive an email alert. So here's an email from a test that I did right before this. And once you're ready, if it's 10 at night, you can go to bed, wake up the next day, and then you can start working on the consult. So here's what it looks like when you get a couple consults that pop in, people requesting your help. And then you can go on into the platform and review the case. So you can see there's some information that was provided. The current patient, this is a current patient. The main concern is color, cosmetic, and pain, etc. And you can also review the photos to make sure that you've got a good idea of what's going on. You can see I've got a little tooth here that's getting a little squirrely on me, probably need a little Invisalign. So if any of you want to help with that, comment below and let me know. This is how you start to progress through the consult process. You can select casework. You can provide treatment recommendation options. This is where the magic happens. You can either record a video or upload a video that's going to be packaged up as the virtual consult. Remember, video is key. That's super important. And then there's the email component of this where you're able to send an email that lets someone know the virtual consult's ready. We provide a little bit of templated text for you, but you can modify that. And then there's a series of emails that follow up with the patient to make sure they know that they're supported, and it nudges them towards that next step. This is what a patient gets. They get their own little microsite. It's got an awesome video in it of you talking, telling them what your recommendation is for them. And there's example casework, your technical recommendations, a bio of you, all of that stuff just gets automatically put together. So that's what our behind the scenes process looks like. Again, you can use on-demand consults, you can use live consults, both are effective, but we need to talk briefly about how you promote virtual consults, right? If you don't tell anyone about it, you're not going to be able to do it. So the first thing you got to remember is email is so far from dead. It's super important. Hopefully all of you have a well-developed email list from your existing patients. If you don't, this is a good moment to get serious about it and know that when you go back, it's one of the priorities your team is going to have because it's such an important way to communicate. So you should already be communicating with your patients about what's happening with COVID-19 via email. This is a great update for you to send out and say, hey, I have a new tool for us to communicate. This is my process. I'm able to communicate through Zoom. I'm able to communicate through a platform that does on-demand consults, whatever you end up deciding. So make sure that you're using email. Your website, as we've talked about, is another thing that you need to make sure you're using to promote virtual consult. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do this, and we're going to get into that right now. So what you want to do, there's kind of three main things that you can share with your marketing agency, your webmaster, whoever's managing your website. You can put a button above the fold. Remember how we all used to read newspapers? There's that part of the paper that's above the fold and then you fold down. Above the fold is the most important part. That's what everybody sees before they scroll. So make sure there's a button that says get your virtual consult, and then it links to additional information, right? It links to that next step. Could be your Calendly calendar, could be the landing page you built, could be, whatever describes the next step for the patient. Alert bar. If you look at the image on the screen here, you'll see there's an alert bar at the top. That's another great way to let people know something's going on. If your office is closed, if you're providing a virtual consult during a select period of time where your office is closed, alert bars can be a great way to get people's attention. And then my favorite one is an info section. So you can see there's another section here. It says in 3 easy steps, send a photo, write a message, get a video. Really educational way for people to understand how virtual consults work. Okay, social media, do not forget about social media. 20 years ago, everyone was reading a newspaper. Now we are all on our phones, browsing Instagram, Facebook, hopefully not TikTok, but people are on social media. So this is a place you want to be talking about virtual consults, letting them know it's something that you offer. And again, it's a great way to stand out and be different, right? You don't want to just say, hey, I'm a dentist, I'm a dentist, I'm a dentist. You want to show them how you're different. A pro tip, if you feel like you're not able to get content out to people in a way that you're going to have a lot of people see it, don't forget to boost your post. I know everyone is tightening their budget strings right now. A little goes a long way. Even putting $20 behind a post is going to push that to a lot of people. So don't forget to consider boosting. Different types of social posts. Video is such a great way to get the word out. It's again, a way for us to connect with people. Recording a video about how virtual consults work is such a good way to connect. And then just your classic post, come up with a nice image, make sure it's not a stock image. If you've not heard about Canva yet, please check it out. It's the tool marketing agencies and graphic designers don't want you to know about. it basically turns you into a graphic designer like that. You get a lot of awesome templates that you can modify for your practice, and you can create some really cool content. And then last but not least, don't forget about stories. Stories are a big deal. 45% of Instagram ad revenue comes from stories, and this is such a good way for you to interact with your patients. Okay, so last little section here as we wrap up. What about regulations and insurance? So when we're talking about cosmetic consults, my recommendation for you is that should be something that you offer as a complimentary virtual consult. Most of our dentists have a free or complimentary in-office consult where someone comes in, you sit down and you talk to them about their case. I think virtual consults should fit into that same spirit and that same category. So there's no direct billing built into our platform or Zoom or anything like that. If you do choose to bill for this, you need to either do that through your office or you need to have a separate online billing set up for that. What about insurance though? Are virtual consults covered? So yes is the answer. And I want to stop right now and say this has been a very fluid conversation where there's been updates really every 24 hours. I'm just referencing information provided by the ADA. This is something that really was, I think, created last week. So I've got the link down in the bottom of the screen here for anyone that wants to go and check this out. We'll also try to post this in the comments after for you to reference. So if you are doing one of the following evaluations, this would be something you could code for teledentistry. So a limited oral evaluation, so something that's problem focused, someone that has a pain that you're going to look at, a cracked tooth, that's something that you would be able to code D0140 for limited oral evaluations that are problem focused. For a reevaluation, for a patient that you've been watching something on, again, limited problem focused, you're reevaluating a problem from a traumatic injury, an undiagnosed continuing pain, anything that's soft tissue lesion that you're watching, you're following up to see how it's doing, that also can be coded D0170. And finally, any reevaluation that's post-op. So if you've done a procedure, you want to follow up, you want to see how things are progressing, that's D0171. And then finally, any sort of case management, any co-care, if you're working with another dentist, another healthcare professional, you guys are collaborating on a case, any work that you do for that can be coded D9992. So those are the treatment-focused codes, but you have to pair them with one of these two codes here. So you know how we've been talking about these two different types of consults, live consults and asynchronous consults. If you're doing a live consult, you need to pair one of the codes we talked about above with D9995. Or if you're using a platform like ours, you need to pair it with D9996. That's an asynchronous code. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about how you can use this to bill insurance. So this is my one moment here to grandstand as a new dad for a second. My wife and I are very, very lucky to be parents to Wilder, a 10-week-old. And I wanted to share this because it's been a really great thing for us to have in this moment where I think we're all, we're all looking out the window, Rome is burning, and sometimes we can get lost in that emotion. And it's been very centering for us to remember that, we've got this awesome gift that we're just having so much fun with. And I know for a lot of you, your businesses are like your babies. And so I know our business certainly is. And so I want to encourage you all to take this time as we started to, not binge watch Tiger King, which again, I highly recommend doing, but to remember to look at your business critically and make sure that it's going to be different on the other side, that you're going to grow on the other side of this. And it's going to be something that you put time and effort into evolving, not just sitting on your hands and hoping that, we'll get back to normal. So thanks again for your time. Again, one final reminder, we are giving all dentists 2 months at no cost, your virtual consult. You can visit us at yourvirtualconsult.com to learn more. And you can use the code FIGHT-COVID-19, all uppercase, to sign up and make sure that your card is not charged. So thanks again for tuning in. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get to them throughout the day today. All right, thanks so much.
Awesome, Michael, thank you. I dropped the website and the code in the comments. So again, if you are interested in learning more about it, take advantage of this awesome deal. Have a great rest of your Saturday, guys. Dr. Nacho will be on shortly to do some live CE on the TV. I also dropped that link in the comments if anyone wanted to join us. Have a great rest of your day.